people on the Zoom. I know we got a couple of people here in person. Hopefully get a few more that jump in as well too. My name is Jim Blair. I'm an assistant professor of marketing here at Eastern Kentucky University. Really excited to talk with you all today because I know building your personal brand, especially online, is something that's been really trendy recently. And I think for all of us in academia and higher education, have a really big opportunity to be able to get our name out there, some of the great work that we're doing research-wise, connecting with our students, and hopefully be able to make a positive impact on whatever community that you're a part of here in Richmond or beyond to show off all those great things that we're doing. So what I want to start off with first with everybody, and hopefully we can keep this as interactive as possible with a few activities and hopefully examples. What do you all think a brand is? Anybody on the Zoom want to give it a shot? I know we've got some business professors on the Zoom, so at least a couple of them know what a brand is. You want to give it a shot, Stephen?
Yeah. A collection of qualities that you associate with like a person or business or endeavor.
Good. So Stephen was saying a collection of aspects, traits, personalities that make up a person. I know we've got one of our marketing instructors on here. Wes, do you want to give it a shot too? Maybe add a little bit more? Or Cindy, if you want to jump in. I know you've got a little bit of branding as well with the econ.
Wes just typed in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
How we're viewed, represented to others, or in simple terms.
Yeah, how you're viewed compared to others. So this is a great way for us to be able to differentiate ourselves from other people in the marketplace, but also you'll see companies or products will use branding to be able to make themselves different from others as well. So what I want to start off with first, everybody, is we need to make sure that we understand what a brand is. Then we'll get into some personal branding and a personal branding activity exercise so we can reflect on our own. And then we'll take a look at how you're able to do this online, specifically with LinkedIn. So what I want to start off with first, everyone, is I think everybody here has been to Taco Bell at one point or another. If we wanted to create a brand for Taco Bell, this is basically how would you describe them if they were an actual person? What would they look like? Are there activities that they would do? Could you describe what their lifestyle choices are? Do they have any personalities? Are there any adjectives you would use to describe them? What do you guys think? How would you all describe Taco Bell? Meg, have you been to Taco Bell? Do you have any like insights or recommendations what that would look like if it was a person?
All I can picture is like somebody dressed up in a big taco suit.
Good. And why do you say there's like a mascot in a taco suit? Why do you say that?
Whenever I hear Taco Bell, I automatically think tacos.
Good. So we have a core product that you think of when you think of Taco Bell. How would you describe them though? If Taco Bell was a person, what would they look like? How would they behave? What are their traits?
I don't know. That I'd have to think about that some more.
That's all right. Holly, do you want to give it a shot? How would you describe Taco Bell if it was a person? What would they look like? How would they behave?
Taco Bell to me, I just think of college. I'm sorry.
Good. So you might think of it as maybe like a younger person, something related or going to college. Anything else?
Yeah, late night partier, eating.
Yes, good. Late night partier. Cindy, anything else? Or Brad, you've got one.
Fun with Taco Bell, given their bright colors, the energy and vibe in their ads, etc.
Good. So it might be more fun. Stephen, do you have anything else?
I would say they're kind of constantly trying new things just because their menu is always rotating with like the whatever specials they've got. So that they very much like in their phase of this hobby. Now I'm doing it.
Good. So it might be somebody that's always trying something new. Maybe sometimes they fail, sometimes they succeed, but they're trying something out of the box. Cindy, any others?
No, I just said energetic and spicy. I don't know if spicy is a personality trait.
Yeah, I think both of those are good, right? We might think of more of like a spicy personality, Maybe even some people say, you know, maybe Taco Bell bites you back, right? I got Taco Bell last night, and then in the morning, I'm like, oh, that was like not a good choice, like getting 5 tacos late night, right? So if that's the case, we might have some people where we've got some traits on here where we might attribute maybe certain products or actions related to Taco Bell. We might have some positive traits associated with them, fun, energetic, but we can also have negative traits, right? Maybe it's like too spicy. Maybe we don't want to be college style. Maybe we want to be more mature, sophisticated, right? Brandy, do you have any other thoughts if Taco Bell is a person?
Everything everybody said, I thought college student, fun, maybe a little bit wild, maybe too wild for some.
Good. So we might say it's wild or even overly wild, where it's too extreme or too bad. Excellent. So with this class, this is how we create brands. And Taco Bell is able to do this by hopefully communicating out to their audience what their perception is and what they want it to be. Now, I will say, when I do this activity with college age students, they have a different perception than how you all perceive Taco Bell. I actually see a lot of negative attributes that they have on here, where some of them are like, well, I think it's low quality, or the line takes forever to get through, or it's like super cheap, right? So in some instances, we may even communicate things negatively about our brand to our audience, and we want to be able to repair those or reposition those in the marketplace. So when we think about a brand, we have a lot of different tools in our tool belt that we can leverage to hopefully turn that into something positive moving forward. What is our actual name? We might be able to have websites, URLs to be able to get out to our marketplace and to the community who we are, what we stand for. We can even have things like logos and symbols that people associate with us. Characters or mascots that I believe Meg had mentioned earlier, maybe a taco that's in like a big mascot outfit, right? We can have slogans or taglines for Taco Bell, Live Moss, or I think it might have been, maybe Brandy had said late night meal. I think they used to call it, yes, fourth meal was the one that they had. So we always think of them as that late night snack or late night dinner. And even things like jingles and sounds, because if I told you what's the sound associated with Taco Bell, dong, right? It's the bell ringing. So even that is associated with Taco Bell, and that's in your head. So we can use each of these tools to hopefully leverage and create a brand image within consumers, but we want it to be positive. And if we do get some of those negative aspects, we want to switch that to something hopefully more favorable moving forward. Now, does anybody know who this is? Any guesses from the audience?
Mr. Bell?
Not Mr. Bell. No one wants to take a guess besides Brad? So this is the CEO of Yum Brands. This is Dave Gibbs. He is overseeing all of the brands that Yum Brands owns. So if you didn't realize, Taco Bell is actually one of the brands that's owned by a larger conglomerate. They also own Pizza Hut, KFC, Long John Silver's, A&W Root Beer. So if you ever wondered, like, why is there a Pizza Hut together with that Taco Bell, or why is the A&W with Long John Silver's? They own all of those brands, and they use a co-branding strategy to hopefully get their name out there and have people have more combinations of food when they're going out to get their meals. But with Dave, if he sees, Taco Bell doesn't really have a positive brand image, or these aspects that you all came up with in our focus group aren't something positive that he wants, or he wants his company to be portrayed as, he might want to reposition what his brand looks like in the marketplace. So the CEO might talk to you all and say, I want to reposition ourselves to be more cool, trendy, higher end, just like Chipotle, right? Because we can all have other brands that we aspire to in the marketplace. So in this case, you might say, you know what? Taco Bell has a lot of products or similarities to Chipotle already. They've got the Power Bowl, Chipotle, they've got their burrito bowl, right? So with this, what I'm going to ask you all to do is just individually, I want you to jot down, if you are going to change some of the words, phrases, adjectives to be able to describe Taco Bell to create that personality, what would you change to morph it into more of a Chipotle brand? One that might be more trendy, cool, fun, exciting, higher quality, more of those positive, upbeat characteristics in the marketplace. So I'll give everybody a couple minutes. You can either jot down on your laptops, in your Microsoft Word documents, or you could jot down on a piece of paper. What are maybe some words or phrases you would use to describe or change Taco Bell? Could we change anything with some of these tools that we have in our brand toolkit, whether it's our slogan, our jingle? Could we have a new mascot? Any logos or symbols to be able to create that better brand identity? One of more premium, luxurious, higher end, sophisticated in the marketplace. And remember, everyone, Yum Brands has full control of their brand image, right? They are the ones that are communicating out to the public what they want their image to be, and they're able to use these different marketing tools to create that image in the marketplace. So if you guys had all these tools to your disposal, what would that look like? Give you guys another 30 seconds if you want to jot down any more ideas, how we might be able to reposition or alter our brand to more of a Chipotle brand if we're Taco Bell. All right, let's see what everybody came up with. Holly, do you want to start us off? Do you have any ideas how we might be able to create more of a perception of higher end, sophisticated, like fun, hip, trendy feeling for Taco Bell if we were trying to turn it into Chipotle?
Sure, I'm all about ambiance. And so when I think of Chipotle's buildings compared to Taco Bell, they're completely different.
Good. So what would we change about that retail visualization, the store atmospherics? What would be some things you would change about the ambiance?
The one thing that pops into mind is Chipotle usually has an outdoor seating area or a couple of tables.
Yep. And what would that outdoor seating look like?
Doesn't have to be fancy, just a little area with some tables and some chairs that if somebody wants to sit outside and not in a fast food restaurant, that would be an option.
Good. And why do you view that differently than sitting inside in a fast food restaurant?
Sitting outside,
Yes. Why is that different?
I like options. So if the weather's good, I like to sit outside for one. The other reason is I'm trying to think of other fast food restaurants that really have outdoor seating, and I think Chick-fil-A might, a couple others might, but they're never usually clean. Sometimes they're just those like hard concrete tables from what I'm thinking of. Whereas
Yes.
Chick-fil-A has like the wrought iron tables and chairs and a little marked off area. It looks a little bit more cleaner as well.
Good. So Holly, to your point, there's very few or maybe no other fast food chains that have outdoor seating. When we think of outdoor seating, that might be more of a fast casual, like a Chipotle brand, or maybe more of a sit-down restaurant or a cafe. That is going to alter our appearance instead of us being more of that fast food, quick food, lower quality. This might be more of an Instagrammable moment, one that might be cooler or fun that people want to actually share moving forward. So I really like that one, Holly. Meg, what's another aspect you might change about the brand?
I'm thinking about, like, when I think of Chipotle, I think more of about freshness and like produce. So I'm thinking Taco Bell, some of their ads are rather gimmicky. So maybe refining those and emphasizing like fresh produce and meats and things like that.
Good. And how would they do that in the advertisement?
Well, I think, they could just show like a fresh head of lettuce being broken open so it looks crisp and fresh. I don't know, just focusing on fresh produce. I don't know, maybe less gimmicky, like less chihuahuas and more.
Yes.
It's on the quality of the product as opposed to the gimmicks that they sometimes use.
Awesome. No, that's excellent, Meg. So if we want to be known for our freshness, we need to be able to show what our products look like. So we need to have those showcased to be able to say, hey, just like you said, Meg, maybe we break open the lettuce, we're chopping up the tomatoes, we're grilling the ground beef, right? Whatever it is, we want to be able to showcase that, because if that's something that we think of, if we're like aspiring to be the next Chipotle and they're known for high quality products, we need to also be able to show that to our brand. Wes, do you want to give your insight? And just to give everybody advance notice, Wes is like one of our marketing experts. He used to do all the digital marketing, social media for Fazoli's, and he works now with the Savor Group with grocery store chains.
Is this thing on? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, you're good, Wes.
Okay, good. You know, there's been a lot of good ideas shared already. I don't know if this has been mentioned, but I'm thinking that if you want to change the brand, I'm trying to think of when I go into a Taco Bell, what music is playing. Probably something upbeat, more fun. And then if I'm going to go dine into a Chipotle, either inside or in the outdoor seating, I'm thinking the music, you know, would add to the ambiance, and the music might be slower, a bit more subdued. Not so much a party scene that I would expect at Taco Bell.
Good. So to Wes's point, if we even look at the store atmospherics, even the sound that we're listening to, the music that's being played, can actually alter how we feel about that store experience. So Wes, are there even any like specific songs or musicians that you would want playing in that Taco Bell to feel more like Chipotle?
Nothing comes to mind right away, because I'm sure the music I listen to would not be in either one of those restaurants. But you know, you would have to look at, I mean, just the genres of music would probably be very different. You might look at more, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, maybe some rap or hip hop or pop music for Taco Bell. And if you wanted to shift towards the Chipotle ambiance or feel, it might be classic rock, you know, something along those lines.
Yes, good. So even our perceptions of the genres of music may be something that we can now create as part of our brand perception. And Wes, I think even I'll go to Chipotle every once in a while, but I think they even play like some more like upbeat music, but it's not necessarily like pop music. It's almost like they're going for like trendier artists or ones that maybe haven't been identified yet to kind of match that like cool and trendy atmosphere or feeling. So it may be that we actually have within our like brand communications teams, they're trying to find those artists that match with what that feeling is we want within our store. William, is there anything else that you might add to maybe this new Taco Bell version that would create our brand that looks more like Chipotle?
The first thing that came to my mind, Meg took it, was this idea of freshness, because Taco Bell, I think it seems more like scoop and plop.
Mhm.
So, you know, maybe like a Chipotle who does like local, what do you call it? Just local people, like farms and businesses, that Taco Bell could kind of cater to that group of people who likes to support local. The music also came to mind. Like, I always think of Chipotle is kind of like stuff that you've heard and you're like, I like this. Who is it? And you Shazam it. Versus Taco Bell, and I don't think Taco Bell plays music, but if they did, I feel like it would be more like mainstream stuff that everybody knows. But yeah, the other ideas about like the type of seating and stuff, and then just decoration. Chipotle's kind of got like a warehouse feel. It's very open, and Taco Bell is just small and crammed in, and you know, you can. It's very different. So others kind of already touched on the things I had thought about.
Good. So to William's point, I think those are really good as well too. We might be able to focus more on where are we getting our ingredients from? Are these something that's more local? Because if anybody in here is a KFC fan, which is also owned by Yum Brands, they've been doing this. So next time you guys are on campus, go to the Richmond KFC, and when you walk in, it says the chicken today is from this farm, and they tell you the location and the name of the farmer. So even these larger brands are trying to do some of those aspects to maybe reposition how you feel or think about them in the marketplace. But I agree, William, again, those store atmospherics are good. The decoration, Chipotle's got more of this like modern urban feel or style. Taco Bell might need to switch, because right now they're doing a lot of neon colors in there and things that are really, I would say, flashy, that jump out. Maybe we need to switch what that store layout looks like. Brad, another point?
Say about the color too, because think about the color, the Taco Bell color is purple, which implies like creativity, maybe out there, where the red of Chipotle is more excitement and spontaneousness. Maybe like a color change to something like orange for excitement, or just, you know, think about how the feel of your restaurant goes.
Yes, very good. So Brad's even bringing up now, and this goes into more in-depth in consumer behavior, but even with our logos and symbols, the colors that we use can even have different meanings to consumers. Those can shift from society to society globally. Oftentimes, I would say fast food or food locations use some form of red because red oftentimes evokes some form of hunger, especially within the North American culture. But I agree, Brad, if we want to shift from being known as this innovative one that maybe we hit or we miss on our Taco Bell, like new items. I think right now they've got those dipping tacos right now is their thing. Some people might like them, some people might not like them. We might want to be something that's maybe more safe, secure. We would want to even change what our logo design looks like moving forward as well. So I like that a lot. So you all did a very good job with this activity. We just wanted to start off with this to be able to see, can we identify, what is a brand? Can we look at maybe an example of one where they might want to change or rebrand in the marketplace? Because what I would say is for you all, what we're going to focus on now is your personal brand. So earlier we were saying that we have brands can be associated with products, companies, organizations, but each of you have your own brand. And you communicate that every day. You can do that, what we'll talk about a little bit later online, but you do that in person too. Even by simple things like the clothing that you're wearing. Are you wearing Nike shoes or Adidas shoes, right? Are you wearing maybe a hat that has Under Armour, right? You are communicating to other people with those brand symbols and logos, who you are, what you stand for, and what you represent. So with those interactions, you're able to maybe shift or change how you are viewed, and especially in the online setting and with new technology that's available, whether it's augmented reality, virtual reality, the metaverse, AI, leveraging and learning these different technologies and creating it and making it a part of your personal brand can allow you to stand out, and what we want, positively differentiate you from the other people in your field and profession, because that shows to employers that you add that extra value. And if you aren't valued by that employer, there's going to be other people in the industry that see what worth and value you're bringing. And oftentimes that's where you're going to hear from recruiters. But then on top of that, your organization is going to grow their presence as well, because you are going to be linked with that brand, your brand extension, and they'll be able to see all the good work that's being done, whether it's in your programs, in your classrooms, in your centers moving forward. So what we're going to do is another activity where I want you all to, if you have a sheet of paper, get out a new sheet of paper, or if you've got that Word document, jump to another page, but we're going to do a little reflection as to what is your personal brand. So if you've got a sheet of paper, or if you're doing this on like a Word document, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is fold that paper hamburger style and just write on the top half of the front. If you guys are doing this on a Word document, just write this on, I guess this would be page 2 for you, and then I'll let you know what will be on pages 3 and 4. So this top half of the hamburger, this is what I want you guys to answer about yourself. Who are you? What words describe you? What do you enjoy doing? And how do others currently view you? So in that first page or first half of the page, I want you to be reflecting about yourself. Answer these questions. Who are you? What are key words, adjectives that people would use to describe you? What do you like to do? What do you enjoy doing? And then how do others view or perceive you? So let's take a minute, jot down as many of those as you can, help better identify who you are and how people view you currently. All right, next. So either on your next page, or you could do the bottom half of the hamburger if you've got a sheet of paper out in front of you. This is where we're going to focus on future you. So, what are your future goals? What do you want to be known for personally and professionally? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are you aspiring for or aspiring to? So the second section, we're focusing on our future selves. What are some of those future goals that you have for yourself? What do you want to be known for? Are there things in your personal or professional life you want others to see or view you as? And then where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What does that future self look like down the road? All right, so next, now that we've got our current self down, we've got our future self down, what we're aspiring for, next on our third page, or if you've got that physical sheet of paper, flip over to the back and you can use the top half of the hamburger. We want to focus on what are trends that are currently occurring in the marketplace. What is cool or popular right now? What groups of people are into or interested in these trends? Now, when I talk about trends, these could be just popular things happening throughout society. We all are specialized in different fields or professions. These could be aspects within your particular field that are trendy right now. But what we want to write is as many of those trends that are occurring as possible. What are really cool or popular things that are happening now? Who's into those particular trends? Is it everyone? Are there certain niches or groups of people that are really interested in this trend? So now that we've got our 3 separate pages down, our current self, our future self, and trends that are happening in the external environment, what I want you all to do individually is look through those 3 areas. Are there any overlaps with those different pages that we've got? Are there maybe trends that are occurring that you could see aligning with your future self? Are there any trends or actions that are going on today that match with who you are? Do you see very clearly how there's a bridge between who you are today and what you're trying to strive for in the future? So if you've got a sheet of paper, what I would do is draw some arrows to be able to kind of map out how some of these things might be interconnected with one another. Or if you've got your Word document, you might be able to do like a color coding, like highlighting. Maybe if these 3 match, we might highlight them yellow. If another group 2 match together, we highlight them green. So start going through those different aspects that you've jotted down and see what really matches or links up for you. Do you see any potential connections, ones where there might be a connection in the future? All right, now that you've got some of those connections down, this is where we're going to start sharing some of our ideas to the group. So with this can help us identify what your personal brand is and what you might be aspiring for to maybe maintain or shift that down the road. Because if we look back at like consumer behavior theory, what we're actually doing is we've got a version of ourselves, but oftentimes there's a future self. And we may consume products or have certain attitudes or display certain behaviors because we're trying to reach this future self goal as who we're aspiring for, what we're trying to be. But the key thing is the reason why we have those trends in there is oftentimes there may be technology, tools, or things that are happening that might allow us to be able to reach those end goals or be distinct or unique in the marketplace. So based off of what you guys had either circled, drawn arrows, highlighted, whatever it might be, does anyone want to share maybe who they are currently and how it's kind of your plan to shift that moving forward, or what it might look like with some of these trends that are occurring in the marketplace? Cindy, would you want to share?
Thanks for asking, Jimmy.
No problem.
I'm an economics professor and I direct the Center for Economic Education, and I've been working with the center since 2001. And so it's been a long time. And for the most part, it's just me in the center, and I do programming for teachers. And through the years, I've brought in some teachers to present also because they connect, in a way that I don't connect with the classroom teacher, the K-12 teacher. And but I have been thinking more recently about sustainability of the center because I've been doing it for a long time. And we moved over from the arts and from class to the College of Business. So there've been a lot of changes in the last just few years. And so I sort of, some of the adjectives I wrote down were for myself were collaborative, and I like to design things. And the future goals, I wrote sustainability of the center. And then in terms of trends, one of the ones that I wrote down was flexibility within education, because I think, with the pandemic changing people's experience with online education and sort of hybrid education, it's been difficult at the center for us to figure out, for me, I say us, it's the royal us, to figure out where to find the K-12 teachers in order to help them with integrating economics and personal finance in their classes. Because if we have in-person activities, we have low turnout. And if we have virtual activities, we don't have a lot of engagement. And it's just really hard to figure out how to be flexible enough to achieve the objectives of the center with all of the uncertainty around where teachers are and what they need today. And so I don't know if all that fits together, but it sort of did in my mind.
No, that's really good, Cindy. So with you, you've got that strong attachment to the Economic Center, right, for economic education. So with that, we have your brand identity, but we also have that closely aligned. And you also want to make sure that that separate brand is moving forward, right, as well. So with part of that, we see that trend where it's almost, I think we've talked about maybe some of the TLI sessions. Students are like expecting instructors to be on demand, like available 24/7, 365, which some articles are suggesting that's one of the underlying drivers of the faculty burnout and the quiet quitting trend that's going on. But we might also be able to argue that even like our high school teacher educators, they want to be able to have access to these like resources or education materials or lesson plans, like at a 24/7, 365 too. We have now kind of like blended the in-person learning experience with the online learning experience, and now working from home or working from anywhere. So we might be pulling resources, and we want to get those resources when we want to. Even Amazon, we expect them to deliver right with 2-day shipping or even faster. We're panicking, why did that package or item not ship? So we need to be able to create something with that center, that perception, where maybe we're able to offer some of these materials, lesson plans, something that they're able to access almost like 24/7, 365, but we also don't want to impact like your resources or your time that's on the job. So it might be creating some of those like digital resources or materials to show that, hey, we can showcase or provide these wants and needs or offerings in the marketplace. But then we also still have these expert consultants and teachers that are able to, link up with you or meet with you during specified hours or times that are available. So even with like these shifting trends that are going on with education, we're able to do that. And then the other thing too, Cindy, is I feel like economics and like personal finance have taken off a lot recently, where a lot of students are interested in personal finance, how the markets work, what are stocks, investments, saving, all those things. So with that economics education, I feel like there's more and more students or young people, and I would even argue society in general, seeking that out and hopefully becoming more financially literate and making better decisions and understanding what's going on in the marketplace, which would be a helpful trend for you and for your center moving forward. Go ahead, Cindy.
No, I think that's good. I like the way you also brought it into the college teaching space as well, because we do have students who are used to having access a lot through virtual measures, and it is very different from teaching face to face and setting up meetings, and it's kind of being on all the time, like you said.
Yes. So even with our personal brands, we want to be able to show like, here's these resources that are available. And we don't want to turn, right, whether it's the high school, business education teachers or the students away, but we might be able to position ourselves as saying, this is when I'm available, or if there's somebody else in the office, like a human representative that's available. But here's our portfolio of like online offerings, so that if you do need something in a crunch or you need something right away, start off with those, and then we can set up a consultation or appointment afterwards. So it shows that you've got that flexibility and willingness to provide those resources 24/7, but it doesn't lead to that burnout or overworking that I think a number of us have been feeling recently. Stephen, do you want to share maybe some of your aspirations, where you see your future self moving forward, or any trends that are going on that might impact that?
Yeah. So pretty much all of my like professional work experience has been here at NKU, where I also went as a student. And it has all centered around like helping students remove barriers. I taught in the math department, and like a lot of students, math is probably something that could use a rebranding, because everyone is like, oh, I have to take this math class and it sounds terrible. It's hard to get people excited about it because it's already got that negative connotation. They're like, this is too hard. But I really enjoyed being able to change the perspective of people on I didn't, get every student, but there were a lot of people who definitely had a different viewpoint about just some basics of algebra after, taking one of my classes, and that always felt really good. And now in my current role, we work as kind of like a hub in housing for just resources, partners on campus. We live in the buildings that we manage, so I'm around these kids and like know their personal problems. They come to my office during the day and talk about their fights with their friends, their quiz they think they just bombed, financial concerns, and we can get them connected to Big East Central. We can get them connected to tutoring centers. We can help directly in many cases. So what I really enjoy is just working with students, working with people, first gen students in particular, because I was also a first gen student when I started here, and I came in with like no support basically, and I wanted to go to college and be successful, and it was very tough, but I had a bunch of different people that helped me, and now I feel like I'm pretty successful, and I want to do that for the next generation.
So Stephen, you're doing a really good job describing your current self, right? You've got, as part of your brand, Eternal Kernel, right? You're part of EKU's, Big E. In addition to that, as an educator, you've tried to remove barriers and promote a positive learning environment, especially with math. Stephen and I were talking before this. I know we've got a couple business professors on here. I know sometimes there's a stigma where the students are like, oh, numbers, I don't know what this like Greek like letter or whatever it is. So then they just shut off. If we can remove those barriers, so Stephen, you might be seen as someone that kind of removes the barriers, helps, but even some of the things you're talking about, you're acting as a mentor, as a coach, as someone that can help be a problem solver. Those are big things that students can come to you and feel comfortable, and then they have confidence moving forward, or they can create that game plan, or you help them create that game plan. So if that's what we've got as current self, what are you striving for? What does the future Stephen look like? And are there any trends that might be able to align with where those future goals are?
Yeah, so I think ultimately what I really do enjoy is solving problems, but solving practical problems that, you know, real people have. And most of my experience has been with specific students in a specific environment. And I would love to expand that. And, you know, maybe learn how to, you know, whether it's at like other institutions, other universities, you know, other populations, and their unique struggles, figuring out how to make it easier for them, and kind of going in with those trends. What I've noticed, at least here, is, you know, we deal with like the incoming freshman class every year, and especially post-COVID, a lot of students kind of expect to just be able to go and ask someone else to solve like every problem they have. In housing in particular, we've had a huge influx of students just being like, my roommate does this thing that mildly annoys me. Can you go tell them to stop it? Because I don't want to bring it up and make it awkward. And so we have to try to teach them like these basic people skills of like how to have an adult conversation, because they want someone else to just go make the problem go away. And so what I try to tell them is that we are here to help, but we are helpers, we are assistants, we are giving you the tools to do it, but you still have to go and actually do this thing. So that's what I would like to figure out how to do, is like address that growing mindset and like empower students, empower people in general, really, to feel like when there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a roadblock, that they have the tools they need to get around it themselves.
Good. So I like that, Stephen. Maybe going beyond that and maybe still helping out with those one-on-one consultations, but is there a way that I can maybe make a bigger impact and be seen as this coach, mentor, problem solver? And it sounds like you're especially passionate about, like you said, the Gen 1 students and some of these students that may be like, I'm not familiar with college, or I don't know what to do, or I need help with some of these skills. And I think, Stephen, there's a lot of opportunities with some of these trends going on. I just got an email in my inbox that I believe it's maybe other people got this in their inbox. The state of Kentucky has like a workforce committee that's focusing on improving the soft skills of students, because that's one of the #1 employer issues that they're having right now. So it might be, how do I communicate with my coworker? Like, what's the best way to resolve this conflict on a team or a group project, right, that I'm working on, whether it's in school or in the workforce afterwards. So if we're able to improve some of those interpersonal communication skills and soft skills, that's going to set them up for success here in their communities and then in the workforce as well. But I think there's a number of other larger problems too, Stephen, in higher ed, whether it's the demographic drop-off that we keep hearing about that's coming in, I think, 2025, if I remember correctly, or even with first-gen students. There's so many, and especially with our communities now, within Southeast Kentucky, with the level of poverty, like, how do I like better manage my budget or my funds that are available? What are some of these questions about financial aid that I might have, or even knowing about resources that maybe many universities have, or even just ours, like the Kernel Cupboard or the Dress for Success, where they get a professional business outfit to go to interviews with. Like, those are some skills and things that could be helpful. And when we shift into our next topic, the online branding, I think there's an opportunity for you to reach not just the one-on-one students and not just the students within the Kernel community, but potentially students that are going to universities all over the US, and I would say even throughout the world, with maybe tips, advice, and recommendations as to how to solve some of those problems that they're commonly facing. So I think you guys did a really good job with this activity. I'm sure the others, you all had some great ones too, jotted down on your paper. But with that, you want to be thinking about that future self and how am I able to communicate that moving forward? And like we talked about, there's opportunities for some of that in-person engagement where you're able to signal to others who you are, what you stand for, what's your expertise, and what do you want to be known for moving forward. But right now, there is a major big emphasis and push for this online personal branding. LinkedIn and Handshake are two great resources that we have available here at EKU that I would highly recommend to take advantage of. Well, there's other platforms that you're able to do this too. You can create a personal brand on TikTok, on Instagram, on Reels, on Facebook, on Twitter. One of the best ones, and I think the one that's probably going to be the best fit for us to look at, is LinkedIn, because that is more of a professional social networking site where you're able to convey some of these positive things that you're doing, your expertise, but then also those collaborations that you're doing at a higher level with your departments, your centers, and your employer, Eastern Kentucky University too. So first, what we want to focus on are what are some types of posts that we might be able to create and get out to the community. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples as to what we can actually use or create on LinkedIn. that might allow you to get some ideas for yourselves as to how you're promoting your personal brand and what you're doing moving forward. So this is a post that I made, I would say probably 2, maybe 3 weeks ago now. This is when we had our new faculty orientation. I was working with Lisa Kay for Faculty Senate, and we had a small table where it was talking about what is Faculty Senate to these new faculty members and what it is that's going on. Visuals can help out a lot with your personal brand. So whether you're able to create like a short video or even take pictures on your phone, whether that's a selfie or showing like images of what your table is that looked like set up or people that you're engaging with, oftentimes that's going to get way more engagement than just a text post. Even adding things like you can see in here, I've got different emojis and hashtags. That is also going to increase the chance that you are going to reach a larger audience, and even people follow certain hashtags, so it is more likely for your post to appear in their news feed. So being able to include those can be really helpful. The other thing that's available with LinkedIn is you will see a small button at the very bottom of my post on the left-hand side that has like a bar graph, and it says impressions, and it's got a number. That will actually give you the stats and metrics behind your post. So on the right-hand side, I've got on the back end what those analytics look like. This shows you who is actually viewing your post, and where it has the companies drop down, you can actually click on that and it will tell you the company size, the title of those people, where is the location of where these people are viewing your post. So you get an idea as to who is actually viewing, engaging with your content, and where's your message getting out to. But highlighting things that you're doing are really helpful, but even highlighting things that you're doing in collaboration with, whether it's your center, your department, your employer, a group that you're a member of in the community, can be beneficial as well, because in this instance, I tagged EKU and EKU Online. They are more likely to like, engage your post, which will then appear in the other the news feed of their followers, or even reshare that content or repost that content moving forward. So if you're able to highlight not just your personal brand, but other brands that are linked to that, you've now not just focused on yourself, but you've also focused on some of those other constituents or stakeholders as well. They're more likely to be interested, engaged, and then see some of that work that you're doing too. Another strategy we can use when posting is using what is called a nostalgia approach. So this photo, I know it wasn't me the other day. This is me back in high school, so 2006. I'm standing with my buddies, Steve and Kyle, and this is one that got some really good engagement. You all have probably photos or memories from the past, right? If you've got any of those, that can oftentimes re-link you up with those people within your network, but then also get people to share and see some of those updates moving forward. So with this, I would even recommend, it's a really good post to do on a Thursday or Friday because of the Throwback Thursday or Flashback Friday trend that we have. But even here, it was really nice because a lot of people from like our past selves, like our high school days or college days, were able to like, engage, and kind of see where we started and then where we went afterwards moving forward. But again, we're able to see on these back end, right, the actual companies that the people are working for, what are their positions, what are the locations of where these people are that are engaging or viewing our posts moving forward, which can be really helpful. But you all probably have nostalgic memories, and whenever you see like a product from that past, or maybe someone that you haven't talked to for a while, oftentimes it can bring those positive memories. You'll want to engage and have positive viewings of that brand moving forward. These are just a few other examples that I've got posted where, like I said, we've got the images of when I volunteered for Future Business Leaders of America, highlighting any aspects of volunteer work or programs that you're associated with. We had Penske come in and talk with our students about different sales and marketing opportunities. But even the third one from the left, I've got a short video clip. And I think this was when I was like welcoming the students back. These are things that, especially now with your smartphones, I know the quality differs from the iPhone 14, from the iPhone 10. Even the iPhone 10 or the iPhone 6 still has really good video and photo quality. You guys can shoot these videos. They don't have to be perfect. You can retake them again and shoot them and get that video posted. I would argue the video I've got here is probably even way too long. It's 4 minutes long. Even if you've got like a 10, 15-second clip, I would recommend keeping it under 30 seconds. That keeps your audience's attention engaged, and you've got a short, clear, concise message that they're able to comprehend. And even other aspects too. We are known in academia for partnering with news outlets, giving our expert opinion. If you're ever quoted in an article, or you get an opportunity to be on a podcast or a TV show, those are all things where you can highlight your brand and now be attached with that podcast, that media outlet, that news anchor. So again, you're able to reach that larger audience and get that information out there. So any way that you can partner with, whether it's volunteering, employers, or even those media outlets, those are great ways to get out there. And a lot of times these stakeholders are also looking at access for our university students, for your research and for your expertise. So it can be a winning combination when you're looking for that moving forward. All right, next thing. How can we build some type of suspense or surprise or mystery? So it was about this time last year, I just put this post out there. Major announcement, right? I'm going to give you some hints or clues the next day. I got so many people viewing my LinkedIn page, and it shows you like the last 5 people that viewed, and I could see people, the same people, like looking again. What's Jim doing? What's going on? And then the next day, I posted some images that were clues, right? So I had all these sports emojis. There's me playing pickup basketball. We played in the Lexington Sport and Social League. We were Team POP, POP, past our prime. We lost every game. We were playing 20-some-year-olds. We were all the 30-some-year-old guys that were huffing and puffing down the court. And then at the Derby, and then I've got a bunch of different school logos. So with that, again, a lot of people are viewing my profile. What is this surprise? What's this major announcement? And then it leads up to what is the main message that you want to say? And now you've captured your audience's attention. So with this, I partnered with authors from 4 different universities. We wrote a sports marketing textbook, and then I was able to wear the hoodie that the textbook publisher had. So with your posts, you don't need to just say everything up front. You can create that suspense or capture that audience. So now people want to go to your page. They want to see what's going on. They're guessing with the clues as to what is this announcement that's going to happen. So these are great ways, again, to get people not only to listen to your message, but almost seek it out in a way. In addition to that, there's a number of activities I actually have my students do to promote their personal brand online that I think you all can do as well, because we're doing some very similar things. And these are actions that you're probably able to do in a reasonable amount of time, because we're all busy, but we all want to leverage our personal brand to get those positive opportunities for ourselves, our departments, and our centers moving forward. So this is one of my students from last semester, Kelsey Beatty. She completed one of the direct effect marketing credentials. We all have different skills and credentials that we can earn in our respective disciplines. If you earn any additional credentials, whether it's completing those online modules to get certified in direct marketing, post about it to your network. Let them know you have now become an expert or become knowledgeable in this particular activity. I believe TLI in a couple of weeks has an opportunity where if you attend 2 of the sessions, you can earn a certification. That is like big star opportunity that if you attend those 2 and get that certification, you can show that off where now you've got the skills or you've got that knowledge in that particular area. In addition to that, with us, we read a lot of research articles, but you guys probably read a lot of popular press articles, whether it's in Wall Street Journal, Forbes, New York Times, USA Today, to stay up to date with what is going on in your industry. You all can write a very short blog on LinkedIn and choose that article feature. And all you have to do is do a quick reflective piece. Maybe it's 4 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs long, saying this is the trend, this is my take on it, and this is where I see it going in the future. So I've had students in the past, like one of my former students, Olivia. She's interested in fashion and apparel in the business industry. She highlighted an article that was written talking about fast fashion and marketing and where she saw that going forward. So if you're not familiar with fast fashion, those are kind of like Forever 21 clothes. They call them throwaway clothes. You wear them one time, you put them in the wash, and they kind of start shredding or ripping apart. That goes against the green and environmental trend that we're seeing. So now we're seeing other brands be more focused on sustainability, like Patagonia, where they focus on their products lasting the lifetime of the consumer. But you guys can give your take. It shouldn't be on like fast fashion marketing. It should be the areas that you're focusing on. And it shouldn't be a large time investment. It's just a quick reflection. You saw this in the news. This is what I think moving forward. This is my take. This is where I see this trend going. And that shows that you've got those critical thinking skills. You apply your expertise and knowledge to that topic, and you give that little twist. What's even better than writing the article is if you do a quick video blog, because you probably follow influencers, whether it's on YouTube, Reels, TikTok. They've got a news story and they give their quick little take or 2 cents, right? And it's a couple-minute video long. You're able to do that same thing with your area of expertise and add value moving forward. This is another one of my students, Garrison. I just ran into Garrison yesterday. We do a lot of interviews with professionals in the workplace. You guys can do the same thing, talking with industry leaders, highlighting what are some of those key takeaways that you got from them. We just refer to these as informational interviews, but these are great opportunities for you to be able to post about what are those key things that you got from that coffee conversation or that Zoom conversation with the professional, and then highlighting it on your professional branding page. Now, maybe you might be skeptical. Does this personal branding stuff work? So myself and a few colleagues have actually published some research on this. This is in the Business Education Forum. It's part of the National Business Education Association. I'm happy to pass along that article, or you guys can access it yourselves. This actually highlights the importance of students creating their personal brand online, but I would argue that it closely aligns with what current professionals in the workplace should be doing for their personal brand. We even include an assignment where they're able to create their personal brand through this process. You guys can even go through that checklist and see, do I have these aspects on LinkedIn and Handshake? But what we've also found through some of our research, which is published in the Journal for Advancement of Marketing Education, is that if you're able to get people to believe in their brand and be confident in their brand, that leads to them having higher levels of authenticity, which you're able to find and reflect. This is who I am. This is the person I want to become, because it gets to your self-actualization. This is where I'm going to contribute in life. This is where I see my passion or my career moving forward. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. So as a result of being able to believe and have confidence in your personal brand, you create that authenticity, which leads to your self-actualization of where's your career going, where is your brand in the marketplace moving forward. So as far as our personal branding workshop for the day, the big thing from that writing down activity or what you jotted down on your laptop, you need to figure out who you are and what you want to achieve moving forward. There's no right or wrong answer there, but this allows you to be able to set yourself apart and be different from other people in your profession or your industry. But set smaller goals to get to that future you. That is not going to happen overnight. So figure out, am I going to maybe post a blog post once a week? Am I going to highlight this workshop that I was a part of? Am I going to highlight this module that I just completed, right? How am I going to get to that future self, and how am I going to be known as this expert and show off these great things that are happening in my department, at my university, or individual things that you're achieving? But utilize those online personal branding tools. LinkedIn is one of the strongest ones, but you can be doing the same thing across other platforms as well. And last thing I would say is leverage your kernel network. Whether you're here at EKU or if you're working somewhere else in the future, leverage some of those brands that you are connected with, because they all have a network of people that are associated with that brand. When you say that you're a kernel, you automatically tap into the alumni network, the current student base, parents of the students, employers that like EKU. All of them are going to listen in your audience and will be associated with that. So any of these brand extensions or co-brands that you're able to partner with or show are part of your brand identity will be beneficial to you moving forward. So what I hope you're able to do is continue building that brand moving forward. We'll go ahead and open up the floor to any Q&A or any feedback that you have, or maybe ideas for continuing to bolster your brand moving forward. Anything from our Zoom audience or in-person audience? Steven, go for it.
So I've not really begun or started creating any sort of online brand, but I know it's something I'm interested in doing. My future goal is actually for the very near future, next year, in fact, are more geographically based. I want to move to northern Indiana and be closer to some of my family there. And I want to continue working in kind of the same field, doing the same stuff, but I know that I'm more flexible on what the specific position is, and I'm more interested in like the area. So what do I need to focus on if I'm trying to create a brand that showcases my skills, but also like will target like a specific geographic location?
Yes. So based off of what Steven's talking about, the first thing is if there's any way, and don't feel like these need to be perfect online posts, perfect videos, perfect photos, I would just start regularly engaging more online to create that presence, right? Even if you've got an area that you're interested in, I would focus first on creating that portfolio or that digital footprint. Once you've got that, now you've got at least some of that established online. I would even be reaching out to people that are working at that university that are currently working those jobs, introducing yourself, and whether it's doing like a Zoom session to learn more about their employer,